First, today is day one, and day one we are starting. The first session is motivation and design thinking by Bhanusree ma'am from IIT Hyderabad, and second session is from 3 to 4 p.m. AI and its tools by Dr. Professor G. Jaisuma ma'am, registered JNTGV, and the third session is mathematical foundations by Dr. C.H. Bindumadri ma'am, HOD IT, JNTGV College of Engineering, Vijayanagaram. So, moving on to the sessions, let's begin with our first session, that is motivation and design thinking. That is by Bhanusree ma'am. Just a brief introduction about Bhanusree ma'am. Bhanusree ma'am is a professor of Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Tirupati, and Madam has PhD in International Relations from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati. And Madam has 26 years of experience in teaching, consultancy, and research. And Dr. Bhanusree ma'am have many publications and 11 PhD scholars in management till date. And she has 42 international and national reputed journal publications and trainer to banks. And Madam completed consultancy for TVS two-wheeler company in Bangalore on brand image of their new two-wheeler. Her broad areas of research interests include entrepreneurship, strategy, business consulting, cross-cultural management, and international business and logistics. And Madam trainer to banks, NGOs, and technology business incubators. She held positions like Dean at School of Business, Watson University, Hyderabad, and Senior Professor and Program Manager at VIT Business School, VIT Vellore. She was responsible for academic administration, implementing curriculum, aligning placements, and facilitating pre-placement training to MBA students also. She was a mentor to the Study Abroad program, a flagship program at WIT Business School for students who aspire to go to University of Michigan. She coordinated summer internships abroad for business school for about 12 years as international relations coordinator to countries like Malaysia, France, Italy, and China. She is on the adjunct faculty role for the University of Rome, Tor Vergata, Italy, and an invited faculty to University of Michigan, Durban campus, USA. She visited the countries like USA, UK, Italy, China, Sri Lanka, and Singapore on academic purposes and teaching assignments. Ma'am, we are very glad to have you here on this occasion. Thank you very much, ma'am, for accepting our request. Ma'am, please welcome, ma'am. Please address our students.
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. And my sincere thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam Rajalakshmi Garu, and my good colleague and friend, Dr. Jaisuma Garu, who is the Registrar of JNTU, and then Hema Garu for having me today to address this students. Yeah. Can I share the presentation right now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Share button.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am.
Hopefully you can see this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now I've gone into the presentation mode. Is it in the full screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for having me here. And good afternoon to all the students over here who are there assembled, and looking forward for a very interesting kind of a session. I promise that I'm not going to make you sleep anyways. Yeah. So coming to this, yeah, okay. So basically, I'm not from IIT. I'm from Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Tirupati. So there is a national institution called ISAP Tirupati. And it is our custom that, we should introduce our institution as well whenever we start any presentation. So we are a centrally funded institution and one among the 7 ISERs which have been established by Ministry of Education for making sure that the students and research scholars do their exciting kind of a research in deep sciences like physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. And very recently, we have added humanities, where I'm also placed. And we are very proud to have our founder director who received Padma Shri for his achievements. He is the founder director of Pune as well. And some of these glimpses will tell you how a central institution looks like, and these are the campus facilities. So that is all from our about my institution. So shall I get into the presentation right now? So, like Vice Chancellor ma'am was mentioning, we are in 21st century, isn't it? So I'm very sorry that we don't have a personal interaction, and I hope I'm audible enough to bear with my audio, like comfortable.
Yeah, yes,
Hopefully,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
It is very clear, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much, Hema Garu. Yeah. So we are just talking about this 21st century skills, and all of you agree with me when we say that basically the kind of education, the kind of institutions we had when we were studying were totally different, and what you guys are all going through is totally different. And you agree that you are in a very better position compared to us, but with a little pollution and a little spoiled kind of a planet that you're all enjoying right now. And there are a lot of question marks on the capabilities of the governments to really combat with this kind of issues, which are going to be very, very costly and very big in the future. So we strongly believe that you are the future. Now, who are all sitting there in the hall and listening to us, you're all responsible for a better future and a better planet for sure. And that is where we come into picture talking about whatever we have spoiled, our generation has spoiled, and what is that you can do. And yes, there are differences, and these differences are going to really make us sit for a while and think about what can we do about this when we talk about this 21st century skills. So for us, our kind of generation, we used to have good teachers, and they used to give us a very strong foundation, and we studied very well, and we were only oriented towards memorizing whatever is there and writing the examinations, and then we get into degrees, we continued our education, and then most probably we got into jobs, and there ends the matter. We don't have any other kind of obligations. Life was very simple. And then now when I look back at those kind of days, it was a very difficult situation. But you guys, I mean, this new generation has got a lot of things to think about, and a lot of things to master, a lot of things to really adapt to. So we talk about the multi-dimensional approach to learning experience. So just simply being in a classroom, sitting in a classroom and listening to your teacher doesn't give you anything, except that you may get a grade because you are very good at memorizing. You just put it back on the answer sheet, and then you write an exam. Yes, that's all fine, but what is going to happen when you are coming out of the college? Your college is a very secure and a very good environment, but the world is not so kind. World is not really going to be that naive or good or innocent. When you are in the job market, you are supposed to compete with a lot of people, and like you have a very great university in your place. I always appreciate that the educational institutions in any area are very, very crucial for uplifting the standards of life of people. Okay. And then we talk about this multidimensional approach. Yes, you need a lot of learning experiences which are going to equip you for the upcoming jobs, because the job market changed a lot. And whatever we used to have designations like, engineer, doctor, these are simple designations, but now we have lots of different kinds of designations and a lot of responsibilities as well. We are working with robots, and we are working with a lot of computerization systems, and anything, now you don't have to go and stand in a queue in a bank to draw your money or send the money, whatever it is. So everything is just happening in the device that is there in your pocket or maybe in your hand. Okay, so coming to this, we are just looking at a skill-based curriculum, which is going to be really helpful, totally changing the paradigm shift into content acquisition and rote memorization to focus on the skills to and abilities that will actually help the generation of young minds to get into better jobs and better living as well. I'm not only talking about the jobs, I'm talking about better living as well, because I know something, yes, it's fine. And my neighbor knows better than me, then I'm in a problem, right? I always have to compare and I have to suffer because the guy or maybe the person who is doing better than me is always ahead of me. And in getting a promotion or maybe in just doing anything, that is whatever I'm supposed to do, that is all taken over by that kind of a people, that kind of a person rather, that is really hurting us. So we need to be aware of what is happening around us. So we need a lot of skills and abilities which are actually going to help us in withstanding with the 21st century challenges, right? So we are talking about this interdisciplinary learning, and most probably, we are not going to confine ourselves to any kind of a basic stream like science. If it is science, I'm going to restrict myself to science. It doesn't work like that. You should know something about management as well. And we are talking about this. How it is looking like being a 21st century student. Yeah, it's a big responsibility, and we feel that a lot of skills are required. I just mentioned few here for a namesake, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit later. And when we talk about this kind of a skill, like creativity and innovation, so I want you to please understand, if I'm actually in person with you there, I would have asked you guys, what is the difference between creativity and innovation? If anybody is interested to answer, I'm always open. Otherwise, I can continue. Any student is interested to say something? Okay. Right. Okay. Creativity is a lot of imagination happens, and the kind of total transforming this kind of imaginations into the reality may happen, may not happen, but ultimately creativity gives us a lot of options and doing something, a procedure, or maybe a service, or creating a product. And innovation is something where you can have an existing system still, you're just trying to make it better and make it simplified and make it very easy for people. And this is how the idea goes. And we talk about this creativity and innovation as the key point, or maybe the key skill for being an entrepreneur. Or forget about being an entrepreneur, you are even trying to be a good employee, you can be a creative person and you can be an innovative person. So this is where the first skill, or maybe the first characteristic feature which we require for a 21st century student, is creativity and innovation. And then we talk about collaboration and communication. And I'm just trying to be very simple on these kinds of things. So collaboration is something where all alone we cannot do anything. So we need a little bit of teamwork. And when we are trying to be friend with everybody, it may not happen, but we can be friends with the same vibe kind of people, right? So we just look at same kind of vibrations are there, then obviously we come together and we try to share the burden, and then we try to achieve the goal. And this can happen only with the help of communication. So you have to explain to people, you have to talk to people about what is your idea and what is that it takes for people to really think about, how to take the process ahead. So there is somebody who is actually raised a hand. Is there anything that you want to share? Navneet Kumar? Or is it okay? Should I continue? Okay. So collaboration and communication are
Ma'am,
actually related to, yeah,
at the
sorry.
end, they are posting their questions in the chat box, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Sure. We will do that at the
I-
end, but
yes,
first.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm okay. Even in the middle, I don't have any problem. Anyways, so fine. So we are looking at collaboration and communication as the second important skill that people require. And critical thinking and problem solving, I'll elaborate a bit on this a little later. And we talk about global citizens. So we are not restricting ourselves to anything here, right? So even though we are in India, and we have borders around us, and we say that okay, we are a single country, and we are going to be fine with ourselves. It is no more same. We are supposed to have connections, and every small movement in any part of the world is going to have reflections. So take for example, if you are a management student, you are very well aware that most probably you are I think you can understand this situation, where we talk about, basically, when we see that there is a stock market in Japan, Tokyo stock market is collapsing, then obviously it will have its impact on Mumbai stock market. So, in the same manner, we are just trying to understand that any movement that is happening in the world, like take for example, now we have the war going on between Ukraine and Russia, and there is another war which is still going on between Israel and Palestine. So those things will definitely have impact on us. So we have to understand the global situations, and we have to move our whatever we are just trying to do in terms of your education, business, and your daily life. Everything matters. You may ask me how this Ukraine war is going to really affect us. This affects us in such a way that you can order a car, or you are booking a car, or maybe you're booking a laptop, that becomes delayed because a lot of these very defined kind of parts are coming from Ukraine. So that I would like to remind you that even our daily things can be coming to a standstill because of these issues that are happening in another corner of the world. And we talk about this technology literacy. Yes, this is very, very important for us. Whatever right now we are doing, I'm sitting in Tirupati and you guys are all in Vijayanagaram, and still we are able to hear each other, look at each other, and hearing whatever is happening. So this technology literacy, how to open a computer, how to shut down a computer, is also important. And for your kind information, whenever we used to get this placement people coming to choose our students, they usually question us, have you just taught your students how to be employable? And the most important thing is technology literacy. So we just don't bother, you have, all of you have your mobile phones, right? And your mobile phones, you don't know how much to charge. We just plug it once you are on the bed, you're just going to plug it and put your charger to the mobile and you sleep. That's wrong. We are not supposed to do that. And the battery will go very quickly because you are charging it overload, right? So we have to be very careful. You have to charge your electronic gadgets only 98%, 95%, not more than that. And you have to wait till everything goes back and down, and then you can recharge. Then the battery life is going to be better. So some kind of technology literacy is very critical for 21st century students, because without a mobile you can't do anything. You carry them into your personal ways, like washrooms and everywhere. So you should understand that unless until you are very literate with the technology issues, it is going to be a miserable life. And one more important thing about lifelong learners being is, there is no end for learning. At the age of 60 also, we have to learn. Okay. I really like learning. So I just go and do a lot of online courses and all that, because, it's going to really help me in understanding a lot of issues, which we may not have a chance to do, or chance to learn in other parts of life, or maybe later part. I can really focus on a lot of things. So that's how lifelong learning is important in terms of, any job, or maybe in your life, anytime. Be open to learning. Don't question, like, why should I learn this at this point of time? No, it's not really, bad thing to learn new things. So you should be interested in being a lifelong learner. And I wish all the students should put this as their qualification. Okay. So whenever you are preparing your CV, whenever you are preparing your biodata, and there is a column where they ask you about describe yourself, first thing is you should be able to tell people that I'm a lifelong learner. That is going to encourage the other person to think about you in a very high manner. Okay. Now, why 21st century skills now? And most of the time, all of us, like, the teachers, the faculty, and, the institutions, starting from Ministry of Education, everybody wants us to be on par with the 21st century skills that is happening across the world. What is the reason? I think as engineering students and computer science students and mechanical engineering students, all of you should have awareness about this concept, that is Industry 4.0. And now basically we are talking about this Industry 4.0 in terms of, we have reached Industry 5.0 as well. So when we talk about this, is going to help us in understanding the kind of stages that humankind has passed through, what kind of machinery and what kind of industries we have seen, and how far we are actually coping up with. And everywhere we are able to do this change management, and we are also very innovative. Humans are very innovative, and we are trying to cope up with the changing world. So how is it happening? So when we talk about Industry 1.0, it is mechanization, water power, and steam power. So we used to use the steam power to run the railway coaches, or maybe buses, or whatever it is. So most of the time, we just had the first machine. First invention and machine was a printing machine. So we understood that with the help of a printing machine, manually writing is becoming difficult, but when you have the printing machine, you can just print a lot of things, and that has led to actually mass production. So when we talk about the Industry 2.0, we brought in the concept of mass production, where we saw that more number of units are produced, we are getting more amount of money, and we decided, okay, fine, we are just making sure that it is becoming foolproof. So we identified quality management, and we also decided on assembly line. Assembly line is something which is actually a very good version of automation, where automatically things are being assembled, and the final product comes into picture. And at this point of time, the great invention was electricity. Electricity helped all the mechanization part, and made the mass production as easier thing. And we moved on slowly to, yes, we have the mechanization and everything, but we need some kind of a programming, right? To program and to control things, we required computers and automation. So here we thought about Industry 3.0, where most of the time the high priority was given to computerization and automation as well. And then, yes, we are doing fine, but how do I connect with people? How do I manage different activities that are happening in different parts of the world? Take, for example, we have this car company called Toyota. Toyota belongs to Japan. But for your kind information, Japan is such a small country where they don't have too much of space, like, like we have. India is so big, and they have established all their manufacturing units across the in countries, like, all over the globe. So they have to connect with their other manufacturing units, and they need to find out. So it's not only Toyota, but most of the time, a lot of industries are doing the same thing. So when it comes to connecting, so we identified the internet part. So internet, Wi-Fi, and Internet of Things, and cyber and physical systems, and we even have gone to the level of identifying robots and everything. So that is happening only in Industry 4.0, and we are actually at the beginning of the Industry 5.0. We are not actually into the middle of it. We are the very, very basic threshold of it, where we see that cyber physical cognitive systems, where we are just aligning human brain with the machines. Okay, whatever I feel, whatever I think. Okay, for this, I would like to give you an example. All the boys and girls, you have been using Google search engine, right? So when you are typing something on the Google search engine, like, for example, a book on Shelley's poetry, or maybe a book on automation. So again, when you go back after 2, 3 days, go back to the same Google search engine. When you just put like B, all the books will be under this particular what should I say, the panel, right? So they rule down on the panel, and we understand that, okay, whenever I use the word B, then automatically, sorry, syllable, automatically all other things are coming, similar kind of things. There is artificial intelligence which is reading what is your requirement, isn't it? So most of the time, we go back to the history of whatever we have searched for. You can see that, AI is studying all that, and assumes that, okay, this student is interested only in these kinds of things. So they just give you a list of all those related things to you. isn't it? And even all of you have an Instagram account, and all of you are very happy putting your finger and just moving the reels, right? When you start watching and liking one particular reel, immediately Meta is going to bring in all those kinds of, similar kinds of reels to you, and it understands that, okay, these are your interest areas. So, am I clear about this Industry 1.0 to Industry 5.0 to all of you? Where we are supposed to get into 21st century skills. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So a little bit more about this Industry 5.0 is it is based on three important pillars. These are like, human centric. Now we are mechanizing, we are more and more into machines, and we are also using a lot of artificial intelligence. And this is where there is a threat in the minds of the people, and we are trying to make it like, more and more human centric. Okay. And human centric is something which we call usually as empathy. Empathy is totally different from sympathy. Sympathy is somebody suffering and you are showing them a little bit of kindness, that we call it as sympathy. But when we talk about empathy, you're just jumping into their shoes. You are feeling that, the kind of pressure or pain they are feeling, or maybe happiness they are feeling. And you assume that, okay, I'm also in the same state of mind or situation, then how it is going to be. That is where we use this word human centric as empathetic situation. So now the businesses, the kind of industries are all looking at producing products which are human centric. Okay, so we talk about the mobile phones which are actually identified with your fingerprint or face recognition, and we have CC cameras which are actually very alive. They are very dull, and all of a sudden there is a moment they become very alert. These are humanoid kind of cameras which are actually identifying the movement immediately and alerting something. So we see that everywhere we are trying to figure out that human centric attitude is important in industry 5.0. And resilient is you fall down and doesn't matter, fail, no problem. And that is where I said, when we were students, when we fail, it is a big shame for us. The relatives and everybody are going to come and talk about you and put it like, oh, come on, somebody failed, and it is an insult. But now the parents and the teachers and the institutions are taking you like, you can fail, no problem, but we are going to help you to come out of that. You don't have to really disappoint, and you don't have to really worry about it. By watching something, and by watching games or a cricket or maybe doing something which is not right, then you fail. That I will never say that that is a good reason to fail. But you have some issues, understanding, or it is difficulty in learning process or something, then obviously you can always fail and learn, not a problem. And whenever we do projects, semester projects or anything, there is a chance that you may fail, but that's not going to really put you down. You can just get up and say that, okay, what is happening, what went wrong. And this is like self introspection, and then we try to understand, okay, where is the problem and how can I really correct it. And this is where resilient thing is also very important in industry 5.0. And sustainability, yes, like I told you, we are the generation, we spoiled the planet very much, the 1970s and 60s people, because at that point of time the world was going crazy with the use and throw kind of products. Plastic was the most fashionable product in those days, and we have manipulated and we have totally exploited the plastic, and we put everything back into the planet, and where it is now very, very difficult to repair the kind of damage that has happened. So we are just looking at sustainability. Sustainability is something where we are just trying to make sure we are not damaging the planet anymore, right? So we are just making sure that we do follow green management, green engineering, and those kinds of things. So we are just not painting everything green, but we are just making sure that it is not going to have a bad impact. How many of you know about the carbon trading and carbon print that we are leaving on the planet? So, however much carbon dioxide is being produced by each and every country, each and every industry is measured, And this is going to be really a detrimental thing for the Earth's survival. So we are very, very careful, and a lot of high-level summit meetings are happening across the countries to control this damage that has already happened. So we are just looking at sustainable solutions. Okay, so how do we go back to the natural things, and how do we avoid artificial colors and artificial chemicals as fertilizers, which are actually spoiling us? So these kinds of efforts, these kinds of innovations have so much of demand across the world about, how to be sustainable. And we talk about this 5.0, and this is also very critical for us at this point of time, because in certain cases we cannot really go into, or we cannot do the work. We are using the robots. Okay. And I was really, laughing a lot when I saw this Instagram reel, where some of you would have seen that, there was a small robo in China, and this robo went to the bigger robos in an exhibition and said, let's go home. And all these bigger robos followed this robo. I don't know how it happened, because, every robot is basically programmed, and they have controls and everything. But anyways, it's fun making reel, but maybe that is true. And very recently, we also heard that, in Korea, one of these robots have committed suicide, falling from the 12th floor of a building. It was working in municipality, and, a lot of papers have to be shifted from one floor to the other. And at one point of time, the robo got confused and jumped out of this 12th floor or something. So I'm just taking the lighter version of it, but this is going to happen very soon, because we have to work with this kind of robots very quickly. I'm just trying to move into this other skills of in 21st century. So critical thinking, we already discussed about this, but I just want to throw a little bit of light on this critical thinking, because you can use it in your education. Right now, I think you guys are all in the first year, and most probably this critical thinking ability helps you in understanding the strengths and weaknesses, and maybe you can do it in a better way once you understand your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, can I give you an example? Your faculty are giving you an assignment, right? And assignment looks like, Greek and Latin for us for a while, right? So when we just look at the question paper also, usually most of the time the students will always do a mistake. Can I tell that mistake? You just look at the question, and your brain is programmed in such a way. You are in a hurry, you are in tension, you are in stress. I have to write this exam and I have to get good marks. Very good. But have you ever tried to completely read the question and understand each and every word in the question? Never. We are in a hurry. We just pick up one or two keywords and then try to answer only those. But your teacher is expecting, because your teacher has given with a very good idea, this is my whole question, and I want this parts in to be written by you in the answer sheet. But in our hurry to just answer the question, because there is a time limit, what do? We just pick up only the very important words which are very familiar to us, and we forget the total meaning of the question. And this is where your critical thinking helps you in answering a question as the way that is expected by your teacher. So please talk to your teachers when you are about to get into your final examinations. Talk to your teachers. What is that they are expecting from you? And that conversation really makes them happy, and you will be in a better position to really answer the questions. So never be hurry in reading the question, but please give time to your brain to accept whatever has been there in the form of a question. And we also talk about, a lot of dispositions are there. Like, you always close the mind. Okay, I learned. Okay, I have this many points and I finished learning. This is enough. I'm not going to look at any other dimension of this particular answer, right? No, don't do that. When you are just looking at it, with open mind and try to figure out, okay, this is only the way of doing it. Is there any other way of doing it better? Okay, set some criteria for yourselves where you can standardize your answer, right? And argument is something where when you question, most probably you will try to get more and more different answers. So you don't have to really disturb your faculty. You have 2 3 good guys who are actually of your vibes. You can just ask them to sit with you, and then Keep asking questions. Each one of you ask yourselves questions. So you will be trying to answer them. Obviously, at this point of time, you find a lot of solutions for a single problem. So reasoning is something where, based on the data, based on the facts and figures, you can always come to a proper conclusion. Okay, this is going to be the answer for my assignment. And a point of view, once again, it could be different, right? So, for example, I would like to ask you, maybe a child is there in a supermarket, very good looking and nice. Not that, they don't have money or anything, but the child is actually, caught by you shoplifting. They have been stealing a chocolate or something. Okay. So your point of view is like, oh my God, this kid is a rich kid, but still have a bad habit of, shoplifting. But when you talk to the kid, it may be a different point of view. So there are always two sides for the same coin. So in the same manner, for every concept or maybe an idea or a situation, you can always add 2 3 different points of view when you want to make it a very better kind of a assignment. So applying all these criteria in terms of creative thinking and critical thinking, ultimately what happens is you do the problem solving. Take, for example, tomorrow you are just coming to the college in a bike, you don't get a parking place. So, are you going to blame the university? You are not going to blame them. You have to find a solution because you are an educated person and you are a young person, and you can always find a solution for that. So, imagine if I'm given the responsibility of this parking area. How am I going to find a solution for this? And try to invent something, right? And this is where we come across a lot of inventions that happen, and today they are the best business ideas. So when we talk about this parking, we have valet parking, we have moment parking, we have lift parking. So many different ideas have come into picture. And then, is there anything that I can change for better, or I can design it for better, and maybe create a solution for this? And then when you are looking at critical thinking, what are you going to do? You have all the factors in your in front of your eyes, and then you try to analyze, like it is little bit of research kind of a work, where you have the problem statement, and then you try to analyze, break the problem into 2 3 parts, and then identify how can I really find a solution for this. When you break down the points, you also have an opportunity to compare which one is of high priority. Okay. And then high priority, list them in a sequence and then rank them whether it is going to be really good, which one to address first, and then how am I going to do. So these things help us in doing this problem solving. Okay. So we will a little bit go back again to the kind of skills we were talking about, because critical thinking helps you, I promise, in your assignments, your classroom management, and your your questions and your friendship, and how do you build your teams, and how do you interact with the people, and how do you win the competitions in your college. That is why I just spent some time on critical thinking. Okay, let's quickly move on to information literacy, which is the fifth skill, because we talked about creativity, we talked about collaboration and communication. So information literacy, once again, we are talking about this computer languages and all that. So how quick are you in processing the information? How quickly you can make use of this information literacy? Okay, take for example, it even goes to the amount of watching TV news. You're watching TV news today. There is a depression in the Bay of Bengal, right? So how do you plan? You would have planned to go somewhere, and how do you plan this information according to your convenience? So okay, fine. The next 2 days it's going to be raining. So should I be just making use of my shoes, or should I be using my old shoes, right? So very simple. In day-to-day life also, you can make sure that the informations are going to be really helpful for us. And then we talk about media literacy. Okay, here we talk about the electronic media, the print media, and also the social media. Most important thing is social media. Now we see a lot of things are happening on media. So sometimes, the girls or boys, they're friendly and they take some pictures, and sometimes the other person who is trying to take advantage may threaten you that, I'm going to post your picture on public. So these kinds of things are happening. So once you know how to take care of these kind of things under control, then obviously you don't face that worst kind of a situation, right? Don't allow anybody to take your photos. Single. You can always be with the friends. Take a group picture, no problem. But when it comes to anything personal, or in a very different situation, please make sure that the mobiles are not in your reach. I'm just telling you, because we see that you are all young people, and most probably you guys are all coming out of Narayana Chaitanya kind of colleges where people are locked and made to study continuously for hours. And once you are into your UG degree, automatically you feel the freedom. That doesn't mean that you can do anything or everything under the sky. There are limitations. We should understand, right? Everybody is not your friend. You have to be very careful unless until you go around with them for some time. You have to understand their intentions. And media is something which is actually creating so much of problem among the young minds. People are trolling them and people are talking bad about. So we are living in 21st century. We have to understand that. So be very careful with the media literacy and technology literacy. We talked about it. And eighth one is flexibility. Flexibility in terms of learning and adapting new things. There is nothing like you should be like you can change yourself. Like we are changing our dress and hairstyle and everything year to year and everywhere. So learn about even if your institution is allowing you to sit in a literacy class or maybe a management class, go and sit there, learn as much as possible. And the ninth point is leadership. Nobody is going to come and ask you, come on, you be the leader, you be the class representative. Nobody. You have to volunteer, you have to show your leadership skills. And you know what happens when you are a leader? You are supposed to be guiding and influencing the others. Okay. Don't take that burden. You can always take the advices and you can always involve people. When you are into collaboration, automatically, you share the responsibilities and you can still be a team who are really doing good in your class. And we talk about initiatives. This is where I said, some of the institutions nowadays, most probably the private institutions, are making it a point as a scoring point. Whether you win or not, all the students are supposed to participate in one competition or the other. This actually gives you a view about what is the situation. You don't go there only to win. You just go there, participate in a competition. That will give you a lot of ideas about what is happening across the world. And we talk about the productivity. We have lots of strategies where you can be more productive than what you are right now. So we have certain skills where you can really think about it. I will remember this point when I'm taking you to the other slides. So social skills are those like being friendly and talking to everybody, not losing your temper, and trying to be cool, and being friendly with your teachers is also very important. So whenever I said, being friendly with your teachers, don't go and disturb your teachers. Not like that. When they are in the class, try to communicate with your teachers. And if you have a genuine doubt, you can always ask and you can always engage in a conversation with your teachers, which makes them really comfortable. And we talk about, why people should learn this kind of skills, because the people who are going to engage you are looking at you with a lot of other skills. We usually call the placement as a center for taking care of our training, because we talk about the CTC. What do you mean by CTC? CTC is cost to the company. Okay, when I'm a company person and I'm coming and trying to recruit you as a employee, obviously I'm just looking at what is the level of your skill set. Are you good in speaking? Are you good in maintaining time? Are you good in your grooming? Are you clean? Are you really, capable of presenting yourself in a pleasant manner? So these kinds of things I just look at. And I also look at the other kind of things like, when you are leaving the office, are you switching off the fans? Right? So nowadays, don't think that, all the people will come with a very beautiful personal secretary and a car and a parking and a AC room. No, first, when you enter into the job, you will be doing all the jobs, right? Even sometimes cleaning your desk and everything is your job. Nobody is going to come because you are at the entry level. Please understand. And we try to prepare you for your future careers with the, imparting this kind of 21st century skills where it's going to be more of human centric. That's what I was telling. In Industry 5.0, we have two, three things which you have to keep in mind. That is resilient, and you have to be very human centric and empathizing. And leadership is also very important for you. Even when you move from one semester to the other, you have to learn more. When you are taking the responsibility, obviously you are better off than the other colleague. And we talk about the other kinds of issues where you have to manage the information that your teachers are giving, and you have to manage the media and other things related to your institution. When you are doing something on the media, you are not just a person, you are student of so and so college, isn't it? So keep that in mind, and most probably you should be able to do this, like, handling things in a proper manner. Okay. So when we talk about productivity, you remember I spoke to you the 11th skill of this 21st century skills. I talked about the productivity, where I'm supposed to explain to you what are those productivity strategies that you can really look at yourselves. So make a four quadrant kind of a table where you can always write strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats. Okay. Always remember, strengths and weaknesses are inside you. As a human being, you know better. What is your strength? You may be a very good speaker, very good in English, very good painter, very good, what should I say, sports person. How is that strength is going to really help you in better, making yourself better, or offering a better position for yourself in the job, or most probably in the class. And all of you know that, when you are a very good sports person, companies come forward to sponsor you and take you as an employee. Take, for example, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He was into railways, and then when he is becoming a better cricketer, Bank of Baroda has come and recruited him. So they started sponsoring, and along with the Dhoni, Bank also was getting a very good name. So any kind of a strength, nourish it, and you have to reap the, benefit. And we talk about the weaknesses. Yes, I'm a late comer, or maybe I'm a late sleeper, then we cannot get up early. So these are the weaknesses which are actually, under your control. Only thing is you don't want to repair them. Otherwise, once you repair your weaknesses, they all become strengths. This redness, all that will become green. Okay. And we talk about opportunities, threats. These are actually not under our control. These are all coming from external sources. External sources are those, like, the circumstances which are not under our control. Now, take for example, we are talking about the car or automobile industry. Now, we are not really going to have the petrol and diesel for long years. No, we are already looking for alternatives, and already we have electric motor companies, and which are coming into electrical scooters. Ola has started its manufacturing. So whenever there is a change in the industry, we should understand there is an opportunity. And maybe those kinds of things you have to think about. What is my background? What is my strength? And how can I get an opportunity in the current situation? And threats are also coming from outside, not under our control. But sometimes, these threats, when you are able to define them, give a statement, break them into points, and then order them according to the priority, all these threats can become opportunities. So are you with me about this SWOT analysis, which is going to really help us every time? Don't do it at one point of time and then forget. Okay. I can tell to everybody in the life that, every point of time, every year, I do this. I just do SWOT analysis for myself. Where am I? And how am I doing? Am I really good? What is my weakness right now? My previous weakness may become a strength, but a previous strength may become a weakness later. So it's a constant process where we need to understand how can I look at my SWOT and how can I improvise myself. And as students, please do this. Your faculty are arranging a lot of guest lectures. They bring industry people. When you go to that company, that CEO, he will not even allow you to come into the gate. But just because people like, your registrar ma'am is there, she's very friendly person, good networking. So when she calls, I can never say no to her. But when you are coming to ISER, we will not even allow you in the gate, right? So as an individual, I'm just telling you. So we just understand that the guest lectures are an opportunity for you to see the great people very closely, talk to them, say hi to them. Nothing you are going to lose out of this, but the guest will remember, okay, the students are very intelligent, very smart. Okay, he remembers the institution name as well, and attend the conferences, seminars, and discussions. Whether you are presenting a paper or not, it doesn't matter. But please participate in this, because textbooks are all done 10 years back. When we talk about any conference paper or a research paper, these are all latest innovations that are coming onto the top of the stage. So we are also looking at experiential learning. Make this assignments as very interesting and make it like a experiential learning, where you are just trying to implement something and you can show it to your teacher how practically you can really bring in this assignment. And we talk about industry visits, where whenever these industry visits are organized based on the security or something, we usually avoid them. But most probably, with all the precautions, please go to the industries and be there on the shop floors, understand how manufacturing is happening and how things are happening in different industries, and try to be a leader, a team member, guide, and philosopher. Okay, you can say that. Come on, we are young, we are not philosophers. Okay, you have a thinking pattern which is going to make you a different person. So obviously, that is where I use this philosopher word. So be a leader. Try to be good to each other, but don't go to that extent like you're disturbing others, right? And because I know the classroom politics, how they happen. So we talk about this important part, like talk to your faculty, and that is more important. When you are exchanging ideas with your faculty also comes to a understanding, okay, this person is, the student is really good into. And don't ask them about a movie review or anything, that also you can do, not a problem. But as much as your faculty are comfortable with you. Okay, and then we are talking about the climate change part. If you are aware of climate change, then most probably this is where I was telling you, you have bigger responsibility of repairing the planet. So you have to be very, very smart about managing technology and also information and everything. And be responsible for the waste we produce. A lot of times I see that universities struggle a lot to manage the waste that is produced, because most of the time you are in the classroom, not in your home. And when you throw something, mommy is very angry, she will be shouting at you. But when it comes to the class, nobody is going to shout at you. So pull all the things and then put all the waste into the classroom. Please don't do that. And most probably you can just take care of the responsibility of managing the waste by yourselves, and be responsible. Switch off the fans and lights and all those kinds of things. Help your university to grow, as we are just managing the green power as well. Okay. So quickly, I will take you to design thinking. Design thinking is again highly related to Industry 5.0, where we talk about empathy. Okay, so IDEO is a company where we just look at how they really take care of the process of design thinking. So usually the same thing I'm going to repeat again, but it is done with a purpose, like you should remember, okay, this is the process I'm going to use. So always you want to find a solution, just frame a question, try to get a lot of information about that, and try to generate ideas and make ideas into tangible things, that is achievable things, or maybe visually you can see certain things and then make examples and try to learn about them and share the story. This is how the design thinking process goes. And when we talk about the design thinking, originally happens in such a way, like empathize first and then ideate it, and then we are talking about defining it, and then we prepare a prototype, and then finally put it to test, where we try to understand, okay, when I try this, how it is going to work out. Okay, now I just want you guys to understand, this is a shopping cart which is used by most of the time Western countries. And when you go to UK, Tesco, and most probably you go to Walmart in USA, these things are very common, but for us it is not yet really happening. So we have different carts, and most probably the people who have been to IKEA would have seen this kind of carts. It is easy for us to identify. So when multinational companies come, we do get this technology transfer. So you can really take care of everything in IKEA except for billing. You have to stagnate at the billing counter, not a problem. There is a video about it. I will show you the end part of it. So now coming back to this empathizing part of it, sometimes this empathy doesn't really work. Okay. So I will bring to you some of these products which have been a failure. So Google was very enthusiastic and said, instead of having a camera in the hand and when you are working, when you are typing, you can take pictures and you can just do whatever you want to. So they have put a small camera on the glass set. And this has become a very big failure in 2013 itself, because this not required at this point of time. And a lot of security worries were there related to this, because whatever you are taking as a picture, God only knows which area. And all of us know we have trouble with the pen cameras and everything. A lot of things happen with that. And one more important empathized product but failed miserably was Tata Nano. And Tata Ratanji, he just wanted to give a very good kind of car ride and safety thing to the middle class people. But our middle class people will stand in a big queue if you are reducing 50 paise on 1 kilo of tomatoes, but they don't want to show the car as a cheaper one. Whatever car which is standing in front of my house should be my prestige. Okay. So that is where there was a mismatch between the empathy and what is the reality of the people thinking. So Nano has become a big failure. And we talk about the Pepsi, where you have a blue Pepsi at one point of time. And in India, we used to have kerosene, which is not really available right now, but once upon a time it was being used for lighting the lamps in huts and other places. So this has become, people started looking at it, why this kind of a color, black and brown is okay, but blue is not really accepted. And we move on to the design thinking, which has been in the peaks in this particular company, where there was a company called 3M company, which is a Minnesota Minerals and Mining Company. So they used to do this corundum, which is a mineral, actually a stone format, which can be diverted into our final product, could be some of these kind of stones. So they have been actually mining in Minnesota state in USA, and they have more than 75,000 employees. And all of a sudden, they all became, jobless, because all of us know that natural resources have limitation. And like Dubai is moving towards the tourism, same thing happened with Minnesota Minerals and Mining Company. So 3M company is supposed to find a new product for itself. So they have enough of a lot of raw material. So they have identified what can we do. They have gone back to the construction industry, and now you can see lot of products. They started with a duct tape and brown tape and cellophane tape, which are very useful for when actually packing, and Velcro. And we also talk about a lot of paints and sprays and adhesives, which are very critical, and sandpapers. All these kinds of things have come into picture as they have been actually focusing more and more on research part. Okay, now we talk about the innovations, like the most and best innovation that the 3M company has found out is the post-it notes, which are always, we all use it right now. In everybody's home, we see this post-it, right? So these are some of the things which are actually, very helpful in terms of, when we talk about basically the design thinking part of it. So I'm not sure this video is visible to you.
Uh, Ma'am, only screen share is there, ma'am. Video is not visible.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see this, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. But video
Okay.
is not playing.
Yeah,
Screen is
yeah. I
visible.
stopped it
Yeah.
to hear to your voice. Yeah. Can you now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Mm, Audio is not coming, ma'am.
Oh. You didn't get the audio yet, ma'am?
No, ma'am. Audio is not coming.
One second, one second. Trying to. Now, ma'am?
Smith tells us what
Yes,
happened
ma'am. Yes,
next.
ma'am.
9 in the morning,
Visible-
day one, and these people have a deadline to meet.
So welcome to the kickoff of the shopping cart project.
This is Palo Alto, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley, and these are designers at IDEO, probably the most influential product development firm in the world. IDEO has designed everything from high-tech medical equipment to the 25-foot mechanical whale in the movie Free Willy and the first computer mouse for Apple. Smith ski goggles, Nike sunglasses, NEC computer screens. Hundreds of products we take for granted.
The point is that we're not actually experts at any given area. You know, we're kind of experts on the process of how you design stuff. So we don't care if you give us a toothbrush, a toothpaste tube, a tractor, a space shuttle, you know, a chair. It's all the same to us. We want to figure out how to innovate by using our process, applying it.
Project leader is Peter Skillman, a 35-year-old Stanford engineer. Project leader because he's good with groups, not because of seniority. He's only been at IDEO for 6 years. The rest of the team is eclectic, but that's typical here. Whitney Mortimer, Harvard MBA. Peter Coughlin, linguist. Tom Kelly, Dave's brother, marketing expert. Jane Fulton-Suri, psychologist. Alex Kazaks, 26, a biology major, who's turned down medical school 3 times because he's having too much fun at IDEO. Safety emerges early as an important issue.
22,000 child injuries a year, and so they're hospitalized injuries. I mean, there are many others.
And theft. It turns out a lot of carts are stolen. As the team works, it becomes clear there are no titles here, no permanent assignments.
And the other side gives us a lot of help, says, be safe. I'll give you a big red ball on a post, and that says you're a big guy. If you got a ball, you're a senior vice president. You know, what do I care? The desk, the red ball, it's all the same. In a very innovative culture, you can't have a kind of hierarchy of here's the boss and the next person down, the next person down, the next person down, because it's impossible that the boss is the one who's had the insightful experience with shopping carts. It's just not possible.
The team splits into groups to find out firsthand what the people who use, make, and repair shopping carts really think.
Okay, go.
The problem with the plastic cart is the wind catches it. Yeah. And these things have been clocked at 35 across the parking lot.
Oh, man, that's actually a pretty good point.
The trick is to find these real experts, and so that you can learn much more quickly than you could by just kind of doing it the normal way and trying to learn about it yourself.
From everything I read, these things aren't that safe either, you know? So probably the seat itself is going to have to be redesigned.
One of the interesting things for me is looking at how people really don't like to let go of the cart, except for the professional shopper, whose strategy is to leave the cart at various places.
3:30 in the afternoon, and the group is back at IDEO. There is no let-up.
Each team is going to demonstrate and communicate and share everything that they've learned today.
A shopping cart has been clocked at 35 miles an hour traveling through a parking lot in the wind.
We were in the store, 2 hours, and it was truly frightening just to see the kind of stuff going on.
You ought to designate some people to make damn sure that the store owner's point of view is represented.
After 9 straight hours, the team is tired. They call it a day.
So,
Everybody cool?
well, that's great. Thanks a lot. We had a great time today.
IDEO's mantra for innovation is written everywhere. One conversation at a time. Stay focused. Encourage wild ideas. Defer judgment. Build on the ideas of others.
That's the hardest thing for people to do, is to restrain themselves from criticizing an idea. So if anybody starts to nail an idea, they get the bell, you know.
The ideas pour out and are posted on the walls.
Oh, the blind, the privacy blind. Like when you're buying 6 cases of condoms, no one sees. So if it doesn't nest, we don't have a solution.
Organized chaos. It's not organized. What it is it's focused chaos.
Vote with your Post-it, not with an idea that's cool, but with an idea that's cool and buildable. If it's too far out there and it can't be built in a day, then I don't think we should vote on it. Enlightened trial and error succeeds over the planning of lone genius.
Enlightened trial and error succeeds over the planning of the lone genius. If anything sums up IDEO's approach, that is it. Worried that the team is drifting, what can only be called a group of self-appointed adults under Dave Kelly holds an informal side session.
4 or 5 teams. 4 or 5 teams, and we give each team a need area. It becomes very autocratic for a very short period of time in defining what things people are going to work on.
If you don't work under time constraints, you could never get anything done because it's a messy process and go on forever.
Back at the shop, it is 6 o'clock, and the 4 mock-ups are ready for showing.
Baskets also can be, if you think you will have more volume, baskets can be put in.
A modular shopping cart you pile hand baskets onto. A high-tech cart that gets you through the traffic jam at checkout.
That you could mount a scanner on the shopping cart so that you as the customer, as you pull it off the shelf, would scan each item.
One that's built around child safety, and another that lets shoppers talk to the supermarket staff remotely.
Yeah, where can I find a yogurt?
But the adults, again, decide more work needs to be done before the mock-ups can be combined into one last prototype.
Why don't we have all the carts come up here for a second?
I think you take a piece of each one of these ideas and kind of back it off a little bit and then put it in the design.
The design is still not there. But there's another motto at IDEO: fail often in order to succeed sooner. And some of the team will be up half the night trying to put together a design that finally does work.
Good.
There it is! There it is! So we took the best elements out of each prototype.
The cart, which is designed to cost about the same as today's carts, is different in every other way.
What do you think?
Well, I'm very proud of the team. I think it's great.
Does this work for you?
Works for me great. It's also beautiful.
The cart's wheels turn 90 degrees so it can move sideways. No more lifting up the rear in a tight spot. And you shop in a totally different way. The bags are hung on hooks on the cart's frame. Remember, there is no basket here.
At first, I was a little shocked, but I think you have some fantastic ideas here. It needs a little refining, but I think that it's great. I mean, we would want them.
She also gave us some really good comments about how we can make this thing better.
A lot of hours. Also, an open mind, a boss who demands fresh ideas be quirky and clash with his, a belief that chaos can be constructive, and teamwork, a great deal of teamwork. And these are the recipe for how innovation takes place. This is Jack Smith for Nightline in Palo Alto, California.
Welcome to the ultimate IELTS.
Okay. So I think I'm open for discussion.
As students, anyone having any queries means raise your hand. We will unmute yourselves. And one of the question posted in the chat box is that how to develop a critical thinking before solving a problem.
Yeah, critical thinking is a process towards the problem solving. Yeah, that's why I said, you have to define a problem first and then break it into different parts and then identify which one is the priority and then rank it and take the data, whatever information you have with you, and then you can find a solution for that. That's how it is. Yeah. Okay, so should I go to the chart part? Yeah.
Manikanta, do you have any questions? I muted your mic.
Manikanta, respond.
216, 201. Who raised the hand?
Ma'am, thank you very much for your
Yeah,
deep
I'm so
insights.
sorry we overshoot the time, but still.
No,
I'm
ma'am,
always
no, ma'am.
there.
It's very useful and very motivational, ma'am. Your deep insights about that creativity and innovation. Not only that, ma'am, collaboration and communication, critical thinking and problem solving, skills for lifelong learning, 21st century skills, now and during the information age also.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And also, you have touched the topic Industry 5.0. Skills required to start and grow in chosen career path, which is very required for our students, and also strategies for growth. And also, till now we have studied SWOT analysis for institutes, for companies like that. But here you have discussed our SWOT analysis for ourselves also, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your deep insights.
Thank you so much. All
Thank
the
you.
best to all of you. And thank you to Vice Chancellor ma'am and Registrar ma'am and Hema ma'am for giving me an opportunity to interact with your students. Thank
We
you,
will
ma'am.
in
Thank you.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. We will in touch with you, ma'am, and we
sure.
will
Yeah.
request your cooperation in the same way for future also, ma'am.
Definitely, definitely.
Thank-
Thank you so much, Hema
Thank
garu.
you, ma'am.
Yeah. See you.